Welcome to Latin 1. Let me just say a few words about myself. My name is Mr. Thomas. I'll be your Florida Virtual School Latin instructor this year. I've taught Latin for over 10 years, and this is actually my third year at the Florida Virtual School. This was a great opportunity for me to work with students from all types of backgrounds and regions within Florida. It was also a great chance for me to help build and design a Latin experience for more and more students. Often people say, well, isn't Latin a dead language? Well, presently we have 12 Latin teachers at Florida Virtual School with over 2,000 students. Who says that Latin is a dead language with over 2,000 students? Again, we have a growing and thriving Latin program here at the Florida Virtual School. Well, what is Latin 1 all about? Well, we're going to learn how to read classical Latin. That's the Latin of the Romans. Cicero and Virgil, Catullus, Seneca. These are all the classical authors that after a Latin sequence you might be able to read on your own. We'll hope to gain an appreciation of Roman culture and its great impact upon Western history. We'll study ancient mythology, the Greek gods and goddesses, and then the Roman versions. And we'll also work on Latin-based derivatives. Yet, why Latin? Why do people study Latin? Why is Latin an important course of study at the secondary school level? Well, first of all, it's going to help you improve your vocabulary. 65% of English is Latin-based. That's a huge number. It'll help you prepare for the SAT verbal section. It'll help you acquire roots for medical and scientific fields. And it will help you achieve mastery of grammatical concepts often overlooked in the classroom. We can even see here's the actual data where we compare Latin students and their performance on the SAT to all other students. We can see that the average Latin score of the verbal section of the SAT, the Latin student scores about 170 points above all other students. And Latin students, in comparison to other language students, such as French, German, Spanish, Hebrew, the Latin students tend to score between 30 and 40 points higher. So again, here's a real correlation of how effective Latin education can be. Well, at the virtual school, it's just like any course at a traditional public high school. You'll receive credit and will affect your GPA. The grade will be sent off to colleges and universities. But we also have something called a grace period. That means it's 28 days to decide whether the class is for you or not. Well, you might want to ask yourself, do I have time for the class during the grace period? Or you might want to ask yourself, will this course meet my goals? Or have I completed enough coursework to make an informed decision about the class? Again, these are all questions you'll want to consider as you move throughout the sequence. Another requirement of the virtual school is called our monthly call. It's time when the teacher, student, and parent are required to touch base at least once a month for the monthly call requirement. This is a time when I can formally help you in the course. We'll talk about your coursework. If there's anything I can help you with, we can discuss at that time. I can also give a report to a parent or guardian letting them know how you're making progress in the class. You are allowed to call me anytime, so if you do need help, just pick up the phone, give me a call. So we can speak actually more than once a month, but we do at least have to speak at least once a month. Well, another part of the course, another non-negotiable, we have to have our monthly call. That's absolutely required. We also have to have something called the discussion-based assessment. And this is where we'll talk about the module. What was the most difficult part of the module for you? Or we might discuss specifics about a specific lesson, namely the nominative case, the genitive, or the accusative. And we'll just chat and you'll answer. There isn't necessarily one right answer. It's a conversation. It's a dialogue. And the purpose of this is to help you with the course and further your understanding. Ideally, I'd like to take the course to the next level and hopefully ask you a few questions that will lead you to ask other questions. So again, it's a very informal, fun conversation that is centered around what you're doing in the course. Well, the last topic that we really have to cover is academic integrity. Academic integrity is at the core of the mission of the Florida Virtual School. Let's discuss a couple of problems that sometimes arise in the Latin class. Plagiarism occurs when students use another person's work and they offer it as their own. If you use another student's work without acknowledging that use, it's plagiarism. If you use a scholar's work without acknowledgement, it's plagiarism. If you use a website or any other resource without acknowledging that resource, that's plagiarism. In particular, the Latin course has sometimes had a few problems with translators. There are translators on the web, and there are sometimes websites that have published partial translations. I want you to be aware that use of these is plagiarism and will be dealt with according to the academic integrity policy of the virtual school. If you need help, we're here to help. Why do people plagiarize or practice academic dishonesty? Well, most of the time it's because people are stressed out and they believe that they need to take a shortcut in order to achieve their goal. What I want you to know is that I'm here to help you. I spend a lot of my time writing tutorials and other resources for my students so that they don't need to go to the websites. They don't feel the need to go to a quote-unquote translator. My students call me, my students email me, and because of that, my students don't have a problem with academic integrity. Well, let's take a look at this great image. This is a very famous painting of the Tower of Babel by Peter Bruegel the Elder. And this is, as you see, the foundation. The foundation is built on water, if you look at the bottom there. And the building, if you look very, very closely, is actually falling apart. The architects have not even finished the foundation, and yet they're building higher and higher. So they have not even finished the base, but yet they continue to build and build and build. So I'd like to ask you this question with regards to integrity. Would you want to live or work in a building where the architects took shortcuts to meet their deadlines? Right? So again, if you feel pressure, please call me. And remember that, do you want to live in a world where people take shortcuts? Here's another example. What kind of world would we live in if everyone took shortcuts at stoplights? Is that the kind of world that you'd want to live in? I hope you can now see how important integrity is to our civilization and even your online course. If you have any questions, please call your Latin teacher as soon as possible. We're here to help you, and we can help you on any lesson and any question with respect to academic integrity. Again, welcome to the Latin class. I look forward to meeting you and your family. I usually conduct my welcome calls in the evening between the hours of 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. during the week. Just pick up the phone with a parent or guardian. I do need to speak to both of you. Talk to you soon and see you online.